Hi. Today I'm going to read two books. Betsy Ross and Helen Keller. Have you heard of them? I bet you have. Anyway, I have two of the easy reader biographies, so I'm going to read those to you today. I love history. All right. Betsy Ross lived from 1752 to 1836. She may have sewn the first American flag. Have you ever wondered how America got its first flag? Some people believe that a woman named Betsy Ross made it. Read on to learn about this famous story. So this is a picture of Betsy Ross. All right. Okay. Oh, Betsy had 16 brothers and sisters. There were lots of chores to do. Betsy helped with sewing. I bet she did. That's a lot of sewing. Betsy was born in Pennsylvania in 1752. Pennsylvania was one of the 13 colonies ruled by England at that time. America had not yet become a country. The USA had not yet become the USA. Okay, so here's the picture that I just read, and here she is sewing with her siblings all over. Some of you know what that's like. Siblings crawling all over the place, getting into your things. Betsy was very talented with a needle and thread. Many people say she won prizes for her work. Not all children went to school in those days, but Betsy did. She was able to. She learned to read and write. She also learned how to sew. Okay, so here's a picture of her. She's reading, and here it shows some of the awards she possibly won. Next picture. This is what I will be reading. Betsy went to work in an upholsterer's shop. Do you know what an upholsterer does? Let's see. Well, okay, this chair I'm sitting in, an upholsterer would put new covering on this. This is like leather, but some people put more of a cloth on, and that's what an upholsterer does. They recover furniture. There she met John Ross. John and Betsy got married. Later, they opened their own shop. John and Betsy. I know a John and Betsy in real life. Okay, so there's John and Betsy. The colonies formed an army to fight against England. Betsy's husband joined this army, but it was a difficult time. A war had started because the colonies did not like England's rules. John joined the army to fight for freedom. Here he is going off to war on a horse. It's a little different than nowadays. George Washington was not yet president. At that time, he was in charge of the colony's army. Betsy decided to run the shop by herself, the upholstery business. Okay, so one day in 1776, General George Washington and two other men met with Betsy at her shop. Here they are, in those hats and that funny hair they had back then. I guess it wasn't funny. It wasn't to them, it was normal. Times change. George Washington wanted a flag made. It would show that the colonies were free from England. He asked Betsy to sew it. They're talking about it. This is how George Washington's sketch might have looked. George Washington showed Betsy his sketch for the flag. It was square. It had 13 stripes and 13 stars. Each star had 6 points. Okay, here it is. So 13 stripes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And each star had 6 points, and they sure do. Betsy shared her ideas for the flag with George Washington. Okay, but Betsy's idea, okay, she had a different idea. She said the flag should be a rectangle, not a square. She thought a rectangular shape would fly better in the wind. Okay, so George, look at, you see that? To me, it looks like he's contemplating her idea. He's thinking about it. Betsy folded the cloth in a special way. Using her scissors, she made a 5-pointed star with just one snip. Betsy also thought the stars should have 5 points instead of 6. She said a 5-pointed star was easier to make. Okay, so George was wanting 6. Betsy suggested 5 because they're easier to make. She did it in one snip. Here's a picture. See, there's her scissors. She had it all folded up. She did one snip and she poofed it out, and there's a 5-pointed star. I would totally want to do a 5-pointed star too. I'm all about easy. Then, okay, the men made sure that Betsy had money for supplies. The men liked Betsy's ideas. They needed the flag as soon as possible. They asked Betsy to get started on it right away. So here they are. Here's her list. It's good to make lists. And there's the money that they're giving her for her supplies to get these flags going. All right. This is the 1776 flag. It shows the 13 stars that stand for the 13 colonies, right? The 13 stars and the 13 stripes stood for the 13 colonies. Betsy worked hard to make the flag. She sewed a rectangle with 13 stripes. And so this is our flag today, right? The 13 stripes stand for the 13 colonies, and the 50 stars stand for the 50 states. The flag has changed over the years. This is how it looks today. In one corner, she placed a blue square. In the square, she sewed 13 stars, and the stars formed a circle. That was in that one, but now this is what it looks like today. All right, so there, you kind of learned a few facts about that. No one outside Betsy's family knew her story about the flag. So on June 14th, 1777, the design of the first American flag was made official. Years later, Betsy loved to tell her grandchildren how she made the first flag. You can visit Betsy Ross's house in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Oh, that would be so fun to go on a trip and study all about history. I hope to do that someday. In 1870, Betsy's grandson gave a speech. He said that Betsy had made the first flag. No one knows for sure that that is true, according to this book, but people still like to tell the story of Betsy Ross and her flag. So there she is telling her grandkids about how she made the flag, first flag for George Washington. And what was that? George wanted 6-pointed stars. Betsy thought, no, let's do 5. All right. And so this is her house in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. Okay. And you can still go see that today. That would be a great trip to go on. We would learn so much. Okay. So that was it. And then I like these books. I love these books for my kids because I liked the words in the back. And we could always just review some of the new words we learned in the book. So, okay. So this one had chore. We know what a chore is. A job that needs to be done regularly, right? Like washing clothes, setting the table, washing dishes, helping your mom and dads do different things. Those are chores. So I hope that you guys are all helping your mom and dads right now during this time. A colony, land controlled by another country. Right. Okay, we learned about that. We learned about the 13 colonies that were now free. Official. Approved by a group or person in power. An official. The official flag, right? It was approved by a group or person in power. An official. It is official. Anyway, whatever. Sketch, a quick, rough drawing. Supplies, we know what supplies are. And an upholster. We learned what an upholsterer does, right? They put new fabric on furniture. Or they stuff it with new materials. Or stuffs it with new material. Yeah, they stuff it with new material. Yeah, sometimes an upholsterer does, like a chair will get flat or a couch will get flat, and they can stuff it full of new stuffing to make it comfy again and then close it back up. So, all right. So that was that book. And now I'm going to read Helen Keller, but I'm going to click off and do it on another recording.